Hey, great morning to y'all. I hope that you've all set a high vibe, reminding yourself of all of the things that you have to be grateful for. And I hope that you're grateful again for a wonderful day. Today is supposed to be an absolutely beautiful day out there, but every day is, if you look at it like that. I hope that when you're seeing a limit, you're getting creative. And I hope that when you're seeing a setback or an obstacle, hey, you're learning and you're assessing and you're redirecting your energies. There's a couple of things I'm going to touch base on this morning. All right, I would like you guys to remove the fear. And I want you to understand how deep the fear goes. Okay? But before I get into that, there's a couple of questions that I'd like to answer. All right? Now, there has been a couple of people that have said to me, Tobi, like who have seen me physically and have said, Tobi, you've really dropped some pounds in the past couple of months. How have you done it? Okay, look, I have been very limited as to what I can do physically since my heart attack. But that doesn't stop me. Okay? Yes, I have what they call degenerative disc disease in my lower back. And I have instability of both of my kneecaps. I have leg braces. Okay? Does any of that stuff stop me? No, it doesn't. Do I feel a lot of pain from it? Yes, I do. What do I do with it? I turn my pain into power. I don't get limited by pain. I get fueled by it. But that had to be a choice within my own being. Okay? Now, we have automatic systems when things are a threat. Okay, so look, let me get back to the initial thing. So I had to get very creative being limited as to how I could drop the pounds because I was very active up until the heart attack. When the heart attack happened, I had no choice but to sit back. Now, with sitting back, I have been a person who finds comfort in food all my life because I really rarely found comfort in other people. Okay? So being stagnant and sitting here not knowing and the stress of it all, which raises your cortisol levels, automatically you store weight. So I put on quite a few pounds. I put on about 50 pounds. I would say 45 pounds from the heart attack. Or since the heart attack. Well, then I had to make a decision for myself as I kept going for these doctor's appointments, and I saw the numbers on the scale just keep rising. And when the doctor saw that too, she said, hey, Tobi, you're heading in the wrong road. You've already done so much for yourself. You cannot let this happen. You're going to have to figure it out. And I said to myself, how the hell am I supposed to even start losing weight or allowing my body to drop the pounds in the state of stress that I'm living, and I cannot physically do the exercise that I want to because of my knees and my back and now my heart. I said, Tobi, you always find a way, and they're never my answers. So she said, figure it out. The way you tell me you will always do it, figure it out. So what have I done? Well, I did research. And if you want your body to start fixing itself or dropping the extra pounds, there's a couple of things that you need to do to help your body along the way. Good gut health is huge. And I had been on antibiotics for years with all of those staph infections and the holes all over my body. So my gut health was diminished primarily. So I had to boost that. How do you do that? Probiotics. Okay? I didn't go with a couple of strains. I'm taking probiotics that are 60 milliard. Okay, like I'm doing the highest potency stuff that I possibly can because I'm not taking any chances. I'm fixing my being. Right? So good gut health was number one. But Then you have to worry about your lymphatic drainage system, because that's the last filter before your body sweats it out, shits it out, or pisses it out. Sorry to be so blunt, but hey. And that is the only system in our body that does not have a pump. So all of the toxins that our body's trying to get rid of get caught up and blocked in this drainage system. And we have lymph nodes all over our bodies. Why? To help filter the toxins out. Well, doing the research, and none of the nursing that I took or none of the anything else that I took really put me in this kind of direction, okay? This is my own saying, okay, look, I got to fix it. So what do? Good gut health. Then lymph drainage, huge. I ordered a bunch of essential oil, ginger, and I rubbed it on my lymph. That's as simple as that. And it works. It works. But then I also I take beetroot every morning without fail. And I take a lot of it. And I take turmeric that has curcumin in it, and there's pepper extract, and I take my probiotics, and hey, I do that vigilantly every single morning. And I don't eat. That's the thing. I don't eat first thing in the morning, and I don't eat probably until like the middle of the day, because I allow my body, from what I take, all of those nutrients, to figure it out. And that's what's worked for me. My numbers on the scale have plummeted back down, like I'm almost at my before heart attack weight. My body feels a lot better. Yeah, I've got still problems with my lower back and my knees and my heart. Yes, but my body as a whole, what I'm doing for it is amazing. It feels great. And no, I'm not sitting there overexerting my body, because I can't. I can't. I'm very limited into what my body is allowing me to do for itself right now. Why? Because this is a time that I have to learn how to restore. Because I've been running myself ragged all my life. So this right now is a restoration period and a healing period for me in my life. So no, I'm not out in parties, and I'm not out socializing, and I'm not out visiting people, and I'm not out doing things, because I'm very limited in my life. But that's okay, because it's all temporary. So I want you guys who are struggling out there with feeling bad about yourselves because you're struggling with weight, or you don't feel good about yourself because you're struggling in a relationship or anything, just, hey, don't be so hard on yourself. You will figure out what will work for you, but do it all natural. And that's what I encourage you all to do. Okay? So I upped my gut health. I had to restore my gut health, because that is initially, hey, you got to worry about the probiotics. You have to. Or the prebiotics, or what is going on in your own gut. Number one. Number two, you got to drain your lymph. Ginger. Okay? You got to drain your lymph. And there's all kinds of other things that you can do. And it's not about, drinking an excess of water. And it's not about, no. There's certain things that you can do for yourself. And on another note, what I sit down to eat is only exactly what my body needs at that moment. I like to eat one big meal a day. And that is not even considered a big meal. When I'm serving my partner supper, his plate is double what mine is. Okay? Our bodies don't need a lot. Hey, great morning, Smitty. I love you lots. Have a great day. Our bodies don't need a lot of anything. One of our biggest problems here is our overindulgence in what we shove in our mouth. And it keeps us dense. Okay? Eating less is actually more, because your body... Okay, just imagine it this way. Your stomach is about the size of your hand. Not even. Okay, the palm of your hand. So look at the size of a plate that we eat and look at the size of your stomach. Now, have you stretched your stomach to accommodate the plates that you're eating? If you have, you need to cut your portions down. Seriously. Only give your body what it needs. It's going to tell you. Okay? Now, so that's how I did it. So, for all of you, those that wanted to know how I did it, that's how I did it. Upped my gut health, drained my lymph, which I do all the time. I wear detox patches on my feet to go to sleep every night. There are certain things that I do to help my body fix itself, because your body can heal on its own. But depending on how bad you've damaged it is going to be the same magnitude of how much you have to restore and heal it. And that's my point, okay? So right now, since my heart attack, yes, I'm very limited as to what I can do. But that's taught me boundaries of what my body has to do and need. I'll give you an example. If I eat something that my body I shouldn't be eating, my heart hurts. If I overeat the stuff that my heart is okay with, my heart hurts. If I push myself too much, my heart hurts. If I overthink about things that aren't good, my heart hurts. Now, had I not had the heart attack, I would have never understood these boundaries for myself. Okay, no matter what I've been through already. So my heart attack was a huge learning experience for me, as it is every day. So I encourage you all to get healthy. Simple as that. Okay? And somebody asked about my weight, how I was losing the weight, how I was doing it with my limitations. Well, that's how. Okay? Be very mindful in what you're doing and what you're saying. And also, too, they're a huge part of my healing and my dropping the excess is that I tell myself every day, at least 10 times a day, hey, body, you know what you're doing. Fix and heal yourself. And I love you and I thank you. And I'm grateful that you can do it. And I'm grateful to be alive to experience this all and know that I have these capacities. And this is what I mean about talking to myself. I speak and command good things into my being every day. All right? And that's going to push me on to today's topic. All right? About removing the fear. We have automatic systems within our body that react to anything that we sense as a threat outside of us. Automatically. So if these are automatic things that respond to what we are feeling and what we are allowing and what we are doing in our life, then we have constant threats. Whether you're actually cognizant of it or not. So what do I mean by that is that it's just like the same way we react without thinking and we do things sometimes without thinking. This is the same way automatic systems kick in for our well-being. So what happens? Hey, you have a nervous system that any type of energy that you are feeling picking up on through your heart first, because your heart is your first brain, which gets shot up through your limbic system into your brain for processing. Okay? So it initially stems from what we're picking up on. So we get these feelings about things. It gets shot to our brain for processing. Now, dependent on your individual belief systems, that's where the thoughts produce from. So, any thought of a threat or a fear is going to amplify this automatic system in your body to react 3 ways. Fight, flight, or freeze. This happens automatically until you can rewrite your belief systems. So understand, if anything is a threat to you in your life, and you are reacting in three ways, you're either fighting it, you're running from it, or you're staying stuck in it, well, then you are in survival. Simple. And when you are in that state, you cannot create anything good for yourself, because while you're running from a predator, it's not time to be loving. And while you're running from a threat or you're fighting a threat, it's not time to learn. And if you're staying stuck in the thick of shit and telling yourself the wrong things, well, it's not time to automatically, love the threat. But you got to change those responses. And this is my point to it all. First of all, you got to see that you're in survival mode. Hey, I was in survival mode up until 2 years ago, not even realizing it, having overcome all that I had. But my body kept responding as if there was a constant threat around me. So I was fighting everything. And I was running from the shit that I didn't want to face. And I was staying stuck in my own thoughts of the shit. So all of that was fear-based. And I was in survival mode. I realize that now. But I couldn't realize it then while I was living it. And never for a minute would I have thought that I was in survival mode. This is why I want you guys to check how you're living. What operating systems are actually producing your thoughts and your reactions to everything in your life. Because it goes a hell of a lot deeper than your thoughts. Your thoughts come from somewhere. And that's your embedded belief systems. Now, where do those come from? Well, your paradigms of every experience that you've ever lived in your life. That's where your belief systems are, and that's what they're comprised of. So you got to look at what it is that you believe to be real as your truth to see where your thoughts are coming from and where your reactions are coming from and why you say the things you do and why you act the way you do. You got to take a good look at that. And you have to ask yourself, hey, okay, now that I've mastered survival, because that's what we've done, then you have to make a simple choice to say, all right, I will remove the fear. And that takes work, because every time you have a reaction to something, you got to take a look at that. And you have to say, okay, is that a reaction coming from me, or is that a reaction coming from what was planted in me? Seriously, but you got to start somewhere. It sounds crazy, but I reacted to things according to what was programmed in me by my life. And it was wrong. What do I mean by that? Well, hey, having the father that I did, I was taught to pounce and pound at any threat, at any person, place, situation, scenario that was a threat to me. Pounce on it and pound it. Because that's what he did. And that's how I governed my life. Everything was always head on, but the way I was reacting to things was totally wrong. And I wasn't producing any right results for myself. Why? Because I was conditioned and programmed to react like that. Why did I turn to alcohol and drugs as a way of an escape? Well, because I watched my father do it. So if it's acceptable for him, it must be acceptable for me. Hey, but if I can't look at that within my own being and own that, I can't change it. Simple. But I can't sit there in a boo-hoo and a oh, poor me while I'm forcing myself to live in a survival mode. I got to change my way of thinking. I got to wise up to rise up out of that. Who gives a shit what I lived or what any one of you have lived up until yesterday? Today, choose to be a better being. Get out of survival. If you have any fear of anything, you're in survival. Because you have automatic systems that kick in. So as long as you believe that anything in your life is a threat, in any shape, way, or form, what do I mean by a threat? Okay, the threat of not being loved, the threat of being judged, the threat of being shamed, the threat of being denied, the threat of that shit produces survival. Own your being. Remove the threats. Something doesn't make you feel good, you don't have to be engaged in it. Understand that. You know, we sit back and we say, oh, well, you know, this and that, and, well, we have to deal with it. That's like a load of shit. Somebody can be standing there in front of me and blah, 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 and I can absorb it all, transmute it, and not even bother throwing it back. Because whether I engage or not is my choice. Hey, morning, Paris. Love you. Have a great day. Seriously, though. So, guys, I'm going to encourage you all. Once you start loving yourself unconditionally and you start forgiving yourself for all of the choices that you made in your life during your survival mode, and it gets very easy to forgive yourself once you realize the way you were operating, and that's what I had to do for myself too. I will refuse to sit here and shame myself, blame myself, judge myself, deny myself. No, that is not for me. That's shit that was installed in me, and that is the way others wanted me to operate through my life. Now, had I not understood that, I would not be able to have changed it. Anything that is a threat in your life will produce the results of the automatic response. So don't be fearful of anything. Getting to the point that I'm at, I'll be very honest. There were many moments of intense fear. Why? Because I had to go back in my life and look at every single thing that ever traumatized my being. That's scary shit when you start unlocking doors that you've had shut for years. And looking at those. And then infusing the love that you needed in those situations to rewrite those scripts within your belief systems. Because you can't sit there and say that you believe that you're this and you're that and you're that and you're this, but your operating systems believe a different story. Because as much as you want to be mindful and put out, oh, you think, oh, this and that. No, it's your belief systems that are running your show. So that 10% of your mind that you want to claim that you're in control of, well, what about the 90%? That is operating on its own. You got to take a look at that. Well, I had to take a look at all of those operating systems that are operating on their own within my being. How can you correct them if you don't? It's as simple as that. It's like turning earth to plant your garden. What? You're going to leave all the rocks in there? You're going to leave all the grass in there? Like what? No. You need fresh soil for a great garden. What do I mean fresh? Like, clean, clear, turned, ready to plant. My mind was like a damn hayfield with rugged terrain. Why? Because of what I had to live. But then when I realized that every choice of mine and everything that my whole life was being comprised of was based on all of that shit, I said, oh no. I gotta fix that. And that's why I encourage you all to do the same. You got to take a look at your being. What operating systems are governing your being automatically? And that's when you're going to be able to see if you are living in survival. I did it. I lived survival all my life. Everything was a threat constantly since the first time I took my first breath. Hey, I have been operating from a fear-based system all my life because from my first breath, there was great fear induced all the time. There was so much of it that it just was a comfortable way of life. And that's all I knew. What, does that keep me locked to that? Oh no, it doesn't. It gave me a hell of a whole lot of fuel and learning so that I could change it all and show others how to do the same. Because if I was still sitting there stuck looking at all of what my life has been comprised of, I wouldn't be able to be a positive person today. There's no way. So, forgive yourself for the survival mode. Take a look at your belief systems. Take a look at the operating systems that are running in your body that are automatically happening. And understand why they have become like this. Automatic systems don't just happen and, it's just like that. No, there are things that happen, that recur, that actually force us into an automatic system like that. Hey guys, you can get it right. And yeah, it's scary to take a look at your own being sometimes. Why? Because everybody's caught up looking at what everybody else is doing and have no self-accountability. And that's why when you start realizing that, hey, nobody matters more than you do, and everything and everybody is just an extension of your own perception and reality, oh, you're going to change. Seriously. And forgive yourself for all of those choices that you made that weren't exactly the best for your being. That's how you let it all go. Give yourself that love. But you can't just, let it go and get over it. No, you got to look at it. You got to feel it. You got to heal it by infusing love. You got to learn from it. You got to apply it, and then it's released. You think it's just, okay, coming to terms with it and letting it go? Oh, no. Yeah, right. It doesn't work like that. Because just as excruciating as it was living it, well, you'll have to reface that and heal it. Remove the emotion from everything and anything that's inflicted you in your life. That's how you get out of survival mode. And we operate every day thinking, okay, well, you know what? Guess what? I can't say that I'm completely fearless. Well, actually, yes, I can. Because you know what? I had to ponder on that thought. Got to go have breakfast, meeting, see you tomorrow. Always great topics. Much love. Hey, love you, Smitty. Thanks for the encouragement. Honestly, I love you, bro. Have a magical day. You know what? I had to hold my tongue on that one, and my being wouldn't allow me to finish that sentence. Because in actuality, I don't have any fear. I really don't. So I can't say that I'm fearful of anything. So you see, I said, well, I can't say that I'm completely fearless. And then my body went, You better think about that, Toby. And I did, and I'm like, no, that's right. I don't have any fear. How do I take out the fear? It's because I trust. Sounds crazy, but I trust. I trust the universe. I trust sacred geometry. I trust my soul to guide me through anything. I trust that everything is for learning. So I'm not fearful of anything. I'm really not. But while I was in survival, and before I changed my ways, and before my actual spiritual awakening, where it was explained to me all the reasons why I've had to live everything and why I've had to, hey, up until then, that's right, sacred geometry. Yeah, I trust it. Everything in divine timing. And that's why we can't rush anything before it's time. We can put things out to the universe that we desire in our hearts and leave it up to the universe to decide when, where, how, why, whatever. But we got to be really clear about the things that we're pushing out there. And that's why less is more. And you know what I realized? I realized the other morning that I started saying something and I stopped. And this is another thing, okay? Here, okay, let me just drop it like this. You guys may all think that Tobi loves to talk. No, Tobi's heard when she speaks. But I come out here and I do a live, and I'm going to be real with you. If I didn't speak one-on-one with another person for the rest of my day, I'm quite content with that. A lot of people think, oh, Tobi likes to talk. Listen, if I talk and I take the time to talk to you, it's because my soul is telling me to. People at the enlightenment stage that I'm at, and when I smell the energy of another being being completely different than what their mouth is saying, I have a very hard time interacting with people. Because I see past the masks and the excuses and the bullshit, and I feel everything off of that being that their energy is telling me, which their mouth isn't. So this is why I have a very hard time. And when people see me or they interact with me, it's because I know that their energy and their mouth matches. Those are the ones. Okay? Literally. So, why? Because I don't like to feel irritated. I don't like to feel frustrated. And that's a lot of what I feel when there's energy that I'm feeling, which is telling me a completely different story than what the person is standing there telling me. So I keep my interactions and where I go and what I do very limited. Why? To protect my peace, especially since my heart attack. So I want you guys to understand something. It's not about interactions and you putting yourself out there and you. It's about how can you hold your being at peace? And what are you willing to sacrifice for that? Once you can do that, and once you can be content in your own being, do you know that you're going to find huge satisfaction in that? What do I mean by that? I don't lie to myself. I don't guilt myself. I do not judge myself. I do not shame myself. I do not blame myself. And I do not do that to others. Okay? Now, what another is bringing to me, well, that seems to be a package deal of all of that. And they want to stand there with their mask on and, oh, well, because they want Tobi to see them this way. Well, guess what? I see right through it. This is why I keep my interactions limited. A lot of that interacting and running for people And being sociable kept me in survival. Why? Because I was running from my own being. And I could not be still within myself. That's the point I'm trying to make. Okay? Once you get good in your skin and you start putting the focus back on you, where you should have it the whole time, you're going to see everything's going to change within you. And then you don't need all of the, oh, okay, I need acceptance from here, and I need this, and I need that, and I need this, and from all these people and places and circumstances and things. I quite understand clearly that I have everything in me for a glorious life experience. And that every single person, place, situation, scenario, and all the learning outside of me is simply to enhance it. Okay? That's where I'm at. And that's where I would like everybody else to be. Okay, so I think the point of all that too is to let everybody know, hey, guys, stop distracting yourself from your own being. That's another thing too. Well, you're caught up in, nah. Anyway, remove the survival, remove the threat of anything and everything, because once you start trusting and trusting yourself and trusting the energies and trusting your guidance of your soul, hey, everything changes. Remove the survival. But if you can't look at why you do the things you do, and if you're fighting things and running from things and staying stuck in things, well, you're, check your belief systems. Check, because any threat, there's an automatic system. Remove the threat. Start trusting. Guys, set a high vibe. Be grateful for everything coming your way, because it's all for learning. Learn about yourself. Forgive yourself. Love yourself no matter what. Unconditionally. See, this is the thing, we've all been trained to love with condition. What do I mean? Well, hey, they have to be a certain way for me to love them. And, yeah. And, if they don't treat me a certain way, I can't love them. And if they don't do these things for me, or if they don't buy me things, well, then they don't love me. Or guess what? Unconditional love is an energetic flow and fuel, which is a natural give and take. There is no material attached to that. No. Conditional love comes with judgment, shame, blame, guilt, denial, non-acceptance, all kinds of other shit. So, if you're loving yourself the way that you've been trained to love yourself, well, then you're loving yourself conditionally, and you're picking yourself apart, and you're not getting the most out of your life. Remove that. Start trusting what you're made of. Start trusting everything. Remove the fear. Anyway, I love you all. Have a great day. I want you guys to set a high vibe. But I want you guys to really take a look and understand that you're running in survival mode. And it doesn't matter what you think. Listen, you got to look deeper. Nobody can do that for you. But don't accept survival for yourself, because that's a choice. It really is. It is a choice. Hey, and I had a simple choice when I knew better also. But why would I choose that? I suffered that. And I suffered everything that comes with that since my first breath. Am I locked into that? No. Because every day, when we are granted another day, we have a gift of a brand new day. I'm a brand new being. I let so much affect my life for so long. Why would I not want to correct that stuff? I encourage you all to do the same. Love yourself unconditionally. That means don't judge yourself, don't shame yourself, don't blame yourself, don't guilt yourself, don't non-accept yourself. Listen, love yourself and love the fact that you're alive. Love the fact that you have a creative power, that you can make anything happen. Start trusting yourself. And that's another thing. If you don't trust yourself, well, there's fear right there in that. Anything that you're not trusting, you're fearing. So, what do you choose? Trust or fear? Because trusting your soul and trusting the laws of this love, this life and this universal energy, and trusting that removes fear. Because you didn't come here on a whim, right? You came here for a reason. You accepted this journey. You accepted to live everything you've lived. But now you got to reconnect with your own being. And like I said yesterday, I'll say it again today. I am love and light before I'm Tobi. And once I drop Tobi, I'm going back to love and light. So it's a simple choice to be that way here during my existence for the rest of it also. And doing that removes the survival. I encourage you all to do the same. Love yourselves unconditionally. Put yourselves first. Remove the fear. You matter the most in your experience. You really do. All right? Vibrate high. Set a high vibe, guys. Be grateful. All right? I love you all. Get the most out of your day. Peace.